Banning pet store puppy sales. I'm Matt Smith. Today on Up Front, a state lawmaker says pet stores should no longer be allowed to sell puppies and kittens. Will that put some stores out of business? I'll ask Representative Lakeisha Myers next on Up Front. Plus, Milwaukee County's plan for a secure youth detention center. County Executive Chris Abele on how it will meet the needs of young offenders. And a shortage of volunteer firefighters. Is there a way the state can help?
Taking on the issues important to Wisconsin. This is Up Front with your host, Adrian Pedersen.
Hi everyone, thanks for joining us today. I'm Matt Smith, in this week for Adrian Pedersen. We begin today with the state's plan to close the Lincoln Hills School for Youth in Irma and replace it with smaller regional youth detention centers. Governor Evers last week signed legislation delaying the closure of Lincoln Hills by 6 months. That will allow more time to review the plans 4 counties are developing to create their own secure use centers. Brown, Dane, Racine, and Milwaukee counties have applied to create secure residential care centers for children and youth. Milwaukee County proposes to spend nearly $42 million to renovate the Val Phillips Youth Detention Center in Wauwatosa and add new programming. We're talking more about this now with Milwaukee County Executive Chris Abele and Mary Jo Myers, the county's Director of Health and Human Services. Thank you both for joining us.
Good morning.
This is a bit of a shift from the original thought to build a brand new facility. Why the change?
Well, actually, it's very similar to what we wanted to do originally. What we've proposed is less about answering the question, how would you take this money and build buildings, and based on how do we get the best outcomes for public safety, the best outcomes for the kids we serve, so lowest recidivism, highest successful integration, and be the best stewards of tax dollars. And we think this proposal does all 3 of those things.
Mary Jo, take me inside these facilities. On a given day, what does this look like for the youth inside and also the adults working there?
Absolutely. So what we're proposing, which does have some differences from the first proposal, is a more expanded continuum of care. So what we want to do is actually increase our staff to child ratio because we know that will be better for all. We also want to create a crisis and assessment center within the detention facility. We need to expand green space. We need to expand programming and make sure that the youth have the right educational and vocational opportunities. So that's the first part of the proposal. Then we're recommending and asking for the ability to take some of our existing resources in Milwaukee County and take the residential facilities that do have beds, transform them to a more secure setting, and enhance the treatment that the kids will receive there as well. The last part of it is to assure a successful transition to the community. And that means we have to have aftercare that works with the families, works in the communities, works with the kids' school systems. We're looking for better outcomes, and we believe our proposal will get us there.
How much of this is different or new and innovative than what is currently being practiced in the county?
Well, we're building on some of the ideas that work, but every bit of new programming we're adding, everything that is in our proposal is based on a rigorous look at best practices around the country. So we're not guessing on everything. We're adopting every good program that has evidence behind it that shows, so we don't have to guess, hey, places that use this programming have better outcomes for kids, better public safety, and save tax dollars. The good news is there's a lot of great groups out there, and we're still working with who are enthusiastic to help us. Our goal isn't just do better than Lincoln Hills. That's the minimum standard. We want to set the new model.
Mary Jo, bring me back for a second. What type of youth and what type of kids would be in these facilities? What kind of crimes have they committed?
So it's a difficult thing to explain in terms of how the state of Wisconsin has what's called serious juvenile offenders. Yeah. And the serious juvenile offenders will be actually maintained by the state in what they're referring to as type 1 facilities. So we would have the next level of kids who have perhaps committed a variety of different types of crimes, but we know present less risk to the community. And through that crisis assessment center that I referred to, we are going to measure level of risk. so that we know precisely how much security each youth requires while still providing them the treatment that they need.
You talked about the classrooms, the green spaces, as spaces for adult workers to cool off. This is not something you traditionally think of when you think of facilities for youth detention. Why is this concept so important?
So as a county executive said, we had an opportunity to go to other places and see what works. So we knew what worked, but now we have a chance to even improve through this new opportunity through a chance to apply for the proposal or the grant.
Yeah. Let's talk about money, $42 million nearly requesting. Is that a solid figure that is higher than the other counties' proposals, as you know?
Yeah, so the total amount was 80 million. And while there are other counties that use these facilities, Milwaukee uses the vast majority. We represent the significant majority of youth that are in these facilities. And so while, the number is a bit more than half of what is there, that Milwaukee County represents about that percentage, maybe even more, of the kids we're talking about. Now, that said, it's our goal. We do this right, and we use the programming that Mary Jo and her team have worked so hard to put together. We know we will reduce the number of kids that have to be in this sort of facilities. We will lower recidivism, lower the odds that they reoffend, and we will save the state money on this. And you don't have to guess. Again, every state that's adopted this type of programming has saved money.
Well, with this request, does this get us closer to a statewide approach to get kids closer to the families if they're not from the Milwaukee County area?
We sure hope so, and the proposal that we're putting forth does, because it says we're going to serve the youth that we currently have responsibility for. We have over 60% black and brown children that are far up in Lincoln Hills and Copper Lake, far distances from their family. And so this proposal gives us a chance to really bring those kids back to Milwaukee County and assure their success.
Are you confident the county will receive this money from the state?
Well, we don't assume anything, and we obviously have to work with the state. We've got a great relationship with the administration, and we are grateful for the legislators who are the reasons that we're even able to have this conversation in the first place. But we had, a fairly quick turnaround in which to put together this proposal, and as we wanted to make sure that what we proposed was no more than what we need, but no less, because again, the whole point here is doing better than Lincoln Hills, and we want to make sure that it isn't, as I said, just a small improvement. We want to set the new national model, and so what we've asked for is what we see as enough to get that done.
Go ahead.
It's also responsible in terms of the taxpayers of Milwaukee County, because with this initial investment, so we need more resources to do this right. So we're requesting up to $48 million, but to do right by this means investing in this continuum of care so that we have better outcomes, less recidivism. We're getting our bang for our buck, so to speak, compared to what it costs to have a youth in a facility, Lincoln Hills and Copper Lake. And so we're really saying up to 48 to do the best possible job with what we're given.
Speaking of Lincoln Hills, the new report recently came out that said they have seen significant improvements in the current status there. Mm-hmm. With that and with conditions improving, why does it need to close in the first place?
Well, I think the standard in government that taxpayers should demand is not less bad. I think everybody, we're making decisions that it's not our money, it's your money, and we take that seriously, so we're not guessing. And we, when I said before, we are always looking at the best practices. What do we know works? And one of the issues with Lincoln Hills is, I think it's great that they've made some improvements, but one thing that they can't change is the fact that it's 4.5 hours away from where the families of these youth are. And one of the central bits of research that has been learned is that when kids are as close as possible to the families, schools, communities, churches that they need to reintegrate into afterwards, they do much better. And that's really hard to do, and will always be hard when you have to go up to Wausau, which is frankly really hard for a lot of these parents to do.
Moving forward, what's the biggest challenge to getting this proposal implemented?
The biggest challenge is to have everyone understand exactly what it would take. And so to add actually to what the county exec said, right now our bar isn't as high as it should be. We need to stop actually handcuffing youth in order for them to get help. And so we want to continue to send that message through Project Rise that what we want to do instead is really invest resources into what youth need to be productive citizens.
This is an important conversation. We thank you both for being here and sharing this new proposal.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Governor Evers signed the nearly $82 billion two-year state spending plan. The governor held a signing ceremony at the Capitol Wednesday to sign a document he called insufficient.
Vetoing this budget in its entirety would have been more of the same divisiveness and the petty political theatrics that the people of Wisconsin have had to put up with for far too long. And vetoing this budget in its entirety would have meant failing to acknowledge that because the budget we, the people of Wisconsin, and I proposed, we were finally able to move the needle.
He did use his partial veto authority to put more money into K-12 education, nearly $100 million more dollars than what Republicans first approved in the budget. In all, the governor used his partial veto authority 78 times. Our editorial partner, WisPolitics.com, has details on the partial vetoes on their budget blog. That's available to subscribers or by following WisPolitics on Twitter. Later on Upfront, rural communities struggling to find volunteer firefighters. We'll look at a new plan to help them out. But first, a state lawmaker wants to stop pet stores from selling puppies and kittens. Why she says a law is needed, next on Upfront.
Upfront, brought to you by the American Transmission Company.